Welcome back to Fairy Garden Discoveries, where STEM takes flight. Bella loved many things: secret messages, careful deliveries, and flying just fast enough to feel the wind. But what she loved most of all were maps. Because maps don't just show where things are, they show how places connect. Today, a path in the fairy garden seems to be missing, and Bella is about to discover that sometimes nothing is lost at all. Bella loved many things: messages tucked into leaves, secret deliveries, and flying just fast enough to feel the wind hum against her wings. But what she loved most of all were maps. Maps told quiet stories. They showed where things were, how places connected, and how to get from one point to another without guessing. When Bella unfolded a map, she didn't just see lines and symbols. She saw possibilities. That morning, Bella fluttered into the garden just as the sun brushed gold across the raised beds and stone paths. A small note had been left for her beneath the wooden arch, folded neatly and weighed down with a pebble. "The blueberry path is missing," it read. Bella frowned slightly. Paths didn't usually go missing. They stayed where they were placed, guiding feet and paws and wings exactly where they needed to go. Still, the note felt important. Bella tucked it into her satchel and looked out over the garden. If a path truly was missing, she knew exactly how to begin. First, she would look. Then, she would map. From above, the garden looked just as it always had. The metal beds stood in tidy rows, their edges catching the light. Stone pavers curved gently through the center, forming familiar routes Bella had flown over hundreds of times. The wooden arch rose at the far end, wrapped in climbing green leaves. Bella glided low, tracing the paths with her eyes. When she reached the place where the blueberry patch should have been, she slowed and hovered. The stones that once led there ended suddenly, swallowed by grass and clover. Beyond them, the bushes waited quietly, heavy with berries, but without a clear way to reach them. Bella landed softly. "That's strange," she murmured. "The patch is here, but the path isn't." Paths didn't simply vanish. Sometimes they shifted. Sometimes they hid. And sometimes, Bella knew, people stopped noticing them altogether. She stepped back and studied the space again, where the path ended, where the ground changed, where landmarks still stood steady and unchanged. Something wasn't gone. It was just hard to see. A sudden rustling sound made Bella turn. Out from behind, a planter burst a squirrel dragging an acorn nearly as large as his head. He skidded to a stop, chest puffed out proudly. "I found the blueberries," he announced. Bella blinked. "You did?" "Yes," the squirrel said. "I know exactly where they are." Without waiting, he marched forward, straight into a watering can. The acorn rolled. The squirrel tumbled. The watering can tipped and splashed. Bella hurried over. "Are you all right?" The squirrel popped up, tail twitching. "Perfectly fine," he said quickly. "That was part of the plan." Bella smiled. "I'm Bella." "Nib," he said. "I'm very good at directions." She glanced toward the hidden path, then back at Nib. "Then you won't mind helping me," Bella said gently, "because the path to the blueberries seems to be missing." Nib gasped. "Missing?" Bella nodded. "But I think we can find it." Nib's eyes sparkled. "Is this a mystery?" Bella settled onto a flat stone and pulled a broad leaf from her satchel. "We'll make a map," she said. Nib leaned in close, eyes wide. "A treasure map?" "A garden map," Bella replied, smoothing the leaf. Maps help us understand space. They show how places relate to one another. She drew a simple shape. This circle is the wooden arch. Nib nodded solemnly. These squares are the raised beds. Bella continued. This line is the stone path. Nib pointed. And that's an X. No, Bella said kindly. That's the bench. Ah, Nib said. A sitting treasure. Bella added small symbols. A flower, a wavy line, a triangle. Landmarks, she explained. Things that stay in place help us figure out where we are. Nib squinted at the leaf. Why does the map look like it's flying? Because maps show places from above, Bella said. Even when we're standing on the ground. Nib paused. Oh, he said. That explains why I keep getting lost. Bella smiled and finished the map. Now, she said, let's see where the path should be. Bella held the leaf map between them and slowly turned in a circle. Before we move, she said, we need to match the map to the garden. Nib tilted his head. The map doesn't look like it's spinning. That's because we are, Bella replied. Maps don't change. Our position does. She pointed to the wooden arch behind them. If that's there in the garden, it should be here on the map. Nib leaned closer. So the map isn't upside down? No, Bella said. We were. Nib blinked. That explains why everything felt wrong. Bella smiled and traced the stone path with her finger. The path starts at the arch, curves past the bench, and runs between the raised beds. Nib followed her finger carefully. Left of the bench, right of the hose. He looked up suddenly. What if we go backward? Bella laughed softly. Then the directions would flip. Nib gasped. Maps are tricky. They're precise, Bella corrected. Once you know how to read them. They began walking slowly, checking the map at every step. One landmark at a time, Bella said. They passed the daisies. They reached the bench. They turned just as the map showed. Nib counted his steps out loud. 1, 2, 3. He stopped suddenly. The map didn't say anything about grass. Bella crouched beside him. Maps don't show everything. They show what matters. She tapped the leaf. Paths, landmarks, and directions. The rest we notice as we go. Nib considered this. So, the map tells the big story. Yes, Bella said. And the garden fills in the details. Nib nodded seriously. I like details, especially crunchy ones. They reached the place where the stone path ended, or seemed to. Bella studied the ground carefully. The map says the path continues, she said. So let's figure out why we can't see it. Bella knelt and brushed her fingers across the grass. Just beneath the green, stone peeked through. The path didn't disappear, she said. It was covered. Nib's eyes widened. The map knew. The map remembers, Bella replied. Even when the ground changes. Together, they traced the hidden stones with their feet, stepping where the map guided them rather than where the path looked clear. Nib hesitated. It feels strange walking where I can't see. That's why maps help, Bella said. They let us imagine what's underneath or around us. Nib stepped forward carefully. Like seeing with your brain. Bella smiled. Exactly. They followed the invisible curve, past clover, past creeping grass, past a place that looked like nothing special at all. Then, blueberry leaves brushed Nib's nose. I knew it, he shouted. Bella laughed. You followed directions. Nib grinned proudly. I followed information. They stood at the edge of the blueberry patch, the hidden path now clear beneath their feet. Nib flopped onto the stones, breathing happily. That was much harder than guessing. Bella sat beside him. But guessing only works sometimes. She unfolded the map again. Maps help us understand space, how far things are, what's between them, and how to move through it thoughtfully. Nib stared at the leaf. So if the garden changes again, the map still helps, Bella said, because landmarks and relationships stay useful, even when surfaces shift. Nib rolled onto his back. I used to think maps were bossy. Bella laughed. They're helpful, not bossy. Nib considered this. I think I like maps. She tucked the leaf carefully away. Good. We're not done learning from it yet. Nib popped up. More mapping. Bella smiled. More understanding. And somewhere behind them, the garden quietly agreed. Nib hopped to his feet and spun in a circle. If the map helped us find the blueberries, he said, then it should help me get home. Bella raised an eyebrow. Should. Nib nodded confidently. Definitely. He grabbed a stick and drew a quick sketch in the dirt. 3 wobbly lines, a circle, and something that might have been a square. There, he said proudly. My map. Bella studied it. What's the symbol? That's my house, Nib said. And this? A very important rock. Bella smiled. Maps work best when the symbols mean something to everyone who reads them. Nib frowned and looked again. So, I should label it? That would help, Bella said. And think about where things are in relation to each other. Nib erased furiously and started again, glancing up at the garden, then back at the dirt. Oh, he said slowly. Maps make you look. Yes, Bella said. They help you notice what's already there. Nib tried following his new map. He turned left, then right, then straight into the compost bin. He muttered. Bella crouched beside him. What landmark did you use? Nib squinted at the map. I don't know. The squiggly part? Bella gently pointed. Landmarks are things that stay put. Benches, beds, arches. Nib glanced up. Oh, I used a leaf. The leaf blew away. Bella laughed softly. That's why choosing the right landmarks matters. Nib sighed, then smiled sheepishly. Maps are harder when you rush them. Yes, Bella agreed. Spatial thinking takes patience. Nib tried again, this time checking the bench, then the hose, then the arch. He stopped and looked around. I think I know where I am, he said slowly. Bella nodded. That's what maps are for, helping you orient yourself. Nib beamed. I feel very oriented. They sat together on the stone path as the garden grew quieter. Maps don't just show places, Bella said. They show relationships. What's near, what's far, what comes next. Nib traced the path with his finger. So distance matters. Yes, Bella said. And direction and position. Nib leaned back. I used to think getting lost was bad. Bella looked out across the garden. Sometimes it just means you haven't gathered enough information yet. Nib considered this. So maps help you think ahead. They help you plan, Bella said, and understand space without having to try every direction. Nib nodded. That would have saved me a lot of compost. Bella smiled. The more you practice, she said, the easier it becomes to picture where things are, even when you can't see them. Nib closed his eyes. I can see my house in my head. Bella laughed softly. That's spatial reasoning. Nib opened one eye. It sounds fancy. It's just learning how the world fits together. As the sun dipped lower, Bella folded the map and slipped it back into her satchel. The path wasn't really missing, she said. We just needed a better way to understand it. Nib nodded. And a better map. Bella smiled. And better questions. Nib stood and stretched. I'm not racing home this time. Why not? Bella asked. I want to notice things, he said, like where the shadows fall, and which way the bench faces. Bella felt a warm glow in her wings. That's how maps begin, she said, with paying attention. Nib waved as he turned toward home, stopping every few steps to look around. Bella watched him go, then glanced back at the garden. Paths visible and hidden, landmarks steady, space quietly holding its shape. Maps, she knew, weren't just for finding places. They were for learning how to belong in them. The garden settled into evening. Light softened along the stone path, and the air cooled just enough to slow Bella's wings. She hovered beneath the wooden arch and looked out across the places they had walked that day, the bench that never moved, the raised beds that shaped the paths, the hidden stones that waited patiently beneath the grass. Maps, Bella thought, were really about noticing. Noticing what stayed the same, noticing what changed, noticing how everything fit together. She unfolded the leaf map one last time, smoothing its edges. It's funny, she said aloud. The path didn't change at all. The garden answered quietly, leaves brushing, insects humming, the ground holding steady. Bella smiled and tucked the map away. Understanding space wasn't about rushing forward or guessing wildly. It was about pausing long enough to see relationships, near and far, left and right, here and there. Bella lifted into the air and traced the path home, not by memory alone, but by understanding how the garden connected around her. She felt sure now. She could find her way again. At the edge of the garden, Bella paused and looked back. Somewhere beyond the grass and stones, Nib was likely counting steps, checking landmarks, and trying very hard not to walk into anything that moved. Bella laughed softly. Maps didn't stop you from getting lost, she knew. But they helped you ask better questions. Where am I? What's nearby? Which direction should I try next? She rested her hands on the arch and felt its solid shape beneath her fingers. A reminder that understanding often comes from steady reference points. Paths aren't always obvious, Bella whispered. But they're easier to find when you slow down and pay attention. The garden glowed gently in the fading light, full of connections waiting to be noticed. Bella lifted into the sky, wings humming. Morale of the story. Maps help us understand the world not by telling us where to rush, but by teaching us how to notice, plan, and move thoughtfully through space. With that, Bella headed home, confident, curious, and always ready to read the world around her.